Hello, Bill here, Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. I wanted to take a few minutes to discuss pellet rifles, air rifles for survival. It's kind of one of those things that's overlooked by a lot of people. Everybody seems to be more concerned about the big bore guns, which is fine, but in a survival situation, small game is always more plentiful than large game, and pellet rifles are excellent small game hunting rifles. I grew up out in the country, and an old Crossman 760 Pump Master, and I used to do a lot of hunting with that back in the day. You'd be absolutely amazed once you get good with them. You'd be amazed at what a great small game hunting implement that they do make. So I wanted to go over a few here that I have personally. Down at the bottom here, this is a Crossman 1322. It's 22 caliber. It's a pneumatic. It's a pump gun. This one came as a kit with the carbine stock on it, and that really increases accuracy. It gives you a lot more control over the weapon, being able to shoulder it. And I have seen people hunting rabbits with these and doing it very successfully. This is pretty low powered. You don't have a lot of power with this one here, so you would have to get in pretty close. And by pretty close, I'm talking probably no more than 30 feet. I wouldn't go much past that. But it's a nice small little gun. The bolts right on where the grips. You remove the grips that come with the gun, and it bolts right on. So I target shoot with this. I haven't hunted with it, and it is extremely accurate. I have to tell you, with the iron sights, very accurate, shot for shot. I can hit quarters at 20-25 feet. I can nail quarters with it. Very accurate. Highly recommend this. Rifled barrel. Fit right in a backpack, and quite compact. Now the next one here, this is a Benjamin XL 1100 Nitro. This is a very heavy rifle. It's about 10 pounds, 10 and a half pounds, something like that. Very, very heavy. Lot of power. Done a lot of target shooting with this one. I can consistently hit the bottoms of cat food cans at 30 yards with this, no problem, shot for shot, right through the same hole. It comes with a nice 40mm nitrogen-filled center point scope, adjustable parallax, and yardage. I like it a lot. Aside from the weight, it is a beast. It takes about 42 pounds of cocking effort. This is a break barrel, not a Springer. I don't care for Springers, and I'll discuss that in a little bit. And if any of you have a Springer and love it, then more power to you. If that works for you, then that's absolutely great. But you cock this all the way down. It's about 42 pounds of cocking effort. It's very stiff, and you load a shot into the breech. And the nice thing about the nitro pistons, they're not temperature sensitive to either the hot or the cold, so they maintain pretty good power. And there's a piston inside that's filled with nitrogen. That acts as the propellant. So when the barrel is cocked, it compresses the piston. And when you fire, that propels the pellet out of the barrel. This is a 22 caliber, and you don't want to dry fire these. Never dry fire a Springer or a nitro piston. You'll run them. Love the gun, aside from the weight. Very accurate. The next one on the list here is, back to the, one more thing I wanted to say. The nitro pistons versus a Springer, you can't leave a Springer cocked. They'll suffer from spring fatigue. In other words, that spring is compressed, and if it stays compressed for an extended period of time and on a repetitious basis, what happens is it loses a certain amount of its power. And also, Springers are temperature sensitive. Cold weather, I've heard of the springs breaking in cold weather. So they do have their drawbacks, and there's also another issue with the Springers. When you fire them, the spring goes forward, and then there's a second recoil as it comes back again. And again, if you have a Springer and that's what you like, more power to you. I'm not trying to talk you out of what you like, just speaking from my personal experience and personal opinions here. Now the next one on the list, this is a Benjamin 392. Now this is a pneumatic pumper. This is the pumping arm here. And this platform here has been around for about 60 years. They used to be the Benjamin Sheridan and Benjamin Blue Streak, and they were made at one time in a 5mm. Which is just a little bit bigger, about a half a millimeter over a 22. This is a 22 caliber. I put a 50mm scope on there. It's a little bit of overkill, but that's a scope I ran across, and it fit on there on the scope intermount here. And very accurate, very hard hitting. You pump these to a maximum of 8 pumps. It's an all wood stock. It's hard to find anything with all wood anymore. And the thing I really like about this, it's a rifle barrel, but the pumping mechanism, the tube here, and the barrel is all brass. And there's advantages to that over steel, and that brass, when it's machined and the rifling's cut in, it actually polishes smoother than steel, so there's less drag on the projectile as it travels down the barrel. The second advantage to this is there's no rust issues over steel. Brass will corrode, but it will not rust. So in a survival situation or a long-term bushcrafting situation, this really wins out. It's a very popular rifle among survivalists. Very lightweight. I think this one weighs, I think it was 3.5, 4 pounds, if I remember correctly. And very accurate, extremely accurate, and very hard hitting. Out to about 30 yards, you could take everything from turkey down to squirrel, no problem with this. I've actually hit a quarter one time. I think it was 20, 25 yards, and almost folded that quarter in half. Very, very impressed with this. Now this one at the top I've had since I was 16 years old. I bought this in 1983. This is a old Marlin bolt action 22 Magnum WMR, and extremely accurate. And it's just an oldie but goodie. I think I paid $89 for it at the time. I'm actually going to put a better scope on there. That's the original scope. I believe it's a Tasco. And nice thing about the 22 Magnum is it's a very underestimated round. Everybody's pretty familiar with the 22 short, 22 long rifle. This is a 22 Magnum shell. It's a lot bigger than the long rifle. These are almost 40 grains. They have a high muzzle velocity for a 22. These leave the barrel at 2,250 feet per second. That's pretty respectable for a 22. I've seen coyotes killed with this very round out to 200 yards, one shot. And I'm not going to advocate poaching. I want to make that very clear, but in a survival situation, if you had no other way to eat, this round will kill a deer. And poachers have used .22 long rifle to kill deer for years. They do that because it's a fairly quiet round. The report doesn't travel as far. But this round will, if a long rifle will do it, this round here will definitely kill a deer. You have to do it with a headshot. But again, I'm not advocating poaching. This is strictly if you were in a survival situation and had no other way to eat and or feed your family. That rifle there and this round will take a deer, no doubt about it. Poachers have been doing it with long rifle cartridges for years. But again, that's only in a survival situation if you had no other way to feed yourself or your family. And now what I like about pellet rifles, pellet guns, over the big bores for the small game. Naturally, you can't hunt small game with a big bore. If you shot a squirrel, for instance, with a 30-06, there's not going to be any squirrel left. And these preserve a lot of the meat. Go for a headshot. Be humane about it. This tin right here holds 500 rounds and costs less than $10. Those are Crossman Premier pellets. That 500 round tin will fit right in your pocket. 2 tins, 1,000 rounds right there. That's a lot of ammunition. You double that, you got 2,000 rounds. Would take up almost no room in a backpack. So ammunition's very cheap for these. It's not regulated. I believe in a few states the pellet rifles are regulated. Most of them are not. That's another big advantage. No paperwork required. But the rounds are inexpensive and don't take up much room in your pack. So there's a lot of advantages there over the other firearms. Other advantages are that they're quiet. So say we're in a grid down scenario, for instance, and you're trying to keep a low profile in your hunting. They don't make much noise over a powder burning firearm, so you're not going to give away your position. It's another good thing. Now, which of these would I take into a survival situation if I had a choice? Hands down, it'd be the Benjamin 392, without hesitation. And the reason for that is this gun here is practically indestructible. That platform there has been around for 60 years, give or take a few years. Very simplistic design. I grew up shooting these and shot literally, myself and my friends, they had them too, we literally shot thousands upon thousands of rounds through them and never had a problem. Every couple hundred shots, you put a couple drops of oil on the pump arm, and when you open that up, there's a little thing in there that shows you where to put it to keep your pumping mechanism lubricated, and also the hinges up here. Put a little oil on them. But other than that, they're basically maintenance free and super reliable. If I was in a long-term survival situation, that would be the one I would take, simply because it's just a tried and true design, and we used to beat the snot out of them when we were kids and never had a problem with them. I still have my old Crossman 760 Pump Master, and I had to put some seals in it, reseal it. But I've had that ever since way back in the 70s. Still shoots just as good as it used to. And once I resealed it, it holds air, no problem. Little tip: if you want to maintain the integrity of the seals on a pump gun, before you put it away, put one pump in it. One pump, and that maintains the integrity of the seals. Your seals will last basically forever if you take care of it. Don't use 3-in-1 oil in it, motor oil, anything like that. You want to use silicone lubricant, and you can buy that. They sell it as Pelgun oil, but you can also buy it pure silicone lubricant. You don't want to use any other oils. It'll eat up your seals. It'll turn the rubber into mush, and you'll run your seals that way. And put a little light coat of oil on the outside, keep the rust off, and you're good to go. So if you haven't considered a pellet rifle or pellet gun as a part of your survival arsenal, I would strongly recommend giving it a shot. And they don't cost much. This one here is, I believe it's about $299. This one here, you can get them for about $159. You can get them off eBay, $159, no sales tax and free shipping. You can't beat that. And this here is a rifle that will basically last you forever, and they're a real kick to shoot, a real blast to shoot, and the ammunition's cheap. You can get that ammunition, that 10 of 500 pellets, Crossman Premier hollow points. You can pick those up for less than $10. I've seen them for $750 thereabout. You can't beat that for 500 rounds. Anyways, guys, this is another episode in our video series we're doing here on the YouTube channel, and look forward to any comments you may have. And if any of you have pellet rifles and you're familiar with them and done some hunting with them, definitely post in the comment section. I'd love to hear about it. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we definitely appreciate your support, and we will see you soon on the next one. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.